This episode is brought to you by the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. There are legends around here.
Who died and made you fucking king of the zombies?
Even if only in their own minds. Forgotten, but not yet dead.
I want to play a game.
Some have tried to stop them, but they keep coming back.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Coming to entertain you. They are the Crystal Lake Soldiers.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast. My name is Isaiah. And as the title kind of tells you, this is going to be our last episode for the show here. And, you know, it's been a fun and wonderful ride over the last 2 years, almost 2.5 years doing the show. And I just kind of wanted to make this last episode just to kind of wrap things up and just kind of let you know kind of what's been going on and, you know, kind of where I'm going from here. So I don't want to, you know, make it seem like, oh, this is ending because of, you know, whatever. It's ending just because it was just time. You know, I started this podcast back in 2019 in July with my friends Sean, Ted, and Mark. And, you know, the reason why I wanted to start the podcast was actually because at that point in my life, I was kind of at a crossroads where I just needed something for myself. You know, I had a lot of shit going on within my life, just with my former marriage and just kind of work and just not feeling fulfilled with where I was at. And I was just struggled for so long just to try to find something that was honestly just for me, something that I could do and something I wanted to do, you know, and I brought in my buddies, my friends, because it was something for fun for us for, you know, just to do and to have fun with, because we all enjoyed, you know, watching horror movies, and we got together playing, you know, Friday the 13th, the game and whatnot. And so that's kind of where it was born from, was just our friendship and our love talking about movies, especially horror movies and video games, wrestling, all that stuff. You kind of heard a lot of different things, you know, throughout the show that we brought. And I love talking about it. I love doing it. I love producing it. You know, behind the scenes, I kind of handled everything with the promotion of it. You know, the guys would help share, you know, when I would post the episodes and whatnot. I kind of ran the social media. I did all the editing for the episodes. I would take hours to edit episodes in the beginning. I mean, in the beginning, for the first 5 or 6 months, it was taking me about 6 hours to edit an episode, just because I was so meticulous in wanting to try to make it sound as best as we could. Because when we started, you know, I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing when I started this. Because at this point now, you know, talking 2022, you know, I've got a Rodecaster Pro, I've got professional microphones and all this other stuff. When we started, we were recording on our PlayStation 4s. Because, you know, if you haven't caught on over the last couple of years, you know, me, Sean, Ted, and Mark were in 4 different states. So we're across the country. We're not in the same area, so we had to do it that way in the beginning, just because we didn't really know kind of what we were doing. So I had my, you know, blue Yeti microphone. Everybody else had like the blue snowballs, you know, plugged directly into their PlayStations. It was all rinky-dink and didn't sound the greatest in the beginning and whatnot, with just the quality and all that. And, you know, recording through a PlayStation 4, you know, doing the stream option to YouTube and then downloading the YouTube video and then extracting the audio and then having to edit that. It was a pain in the fucking ass in the beginning, but it was so enjoyable and so much fun. You know, the first, you know, how many ever episodes was, they would rank anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours long, you know, before we kind of ranked it in and brought it to where we thought was kind of a reasonable amount of time for each episode. And that's kind of where it all started. And it was enjoyable for a very long time. And as we went along, I didn't edit nearly as much after a while, just because I was doing so much with the show, and I needed to conserve my own time and not spend so much time editing with running the social media, doing all the graphics and logos and all that, doing the website and everything else kind of behind the scenes I was kind of doing, which was great. I love doing this stuff. It kept me busy. It kept my mind off of things, especially just with all the shit going on in my life. And I've enjoyed doing it over the last 2.5 years. And, I know the guys did when they were a part of the show before they, decided to step away. They enjoyed doing it too. And we just had fun talking. And we were just a group of friends that loved to talk about horror movies. And at the end of the day, that's all we were trying to do. We never thought we would get anywhere in, honestly, being a part of the Slash and Cast podcast network has been such a blessing. We gained friends from there as well. And, friends that I hold dear and I've been able to collaborate with. We've had them on the show. I've been on their shows. So it's all been a tremendous experience with doing the show. And, the growth that it saw, it wasn't exponential, but at the same time, it was more than I could have ever hoped for. Because honestly, I just wanted to do the show just to do it with my friends, just for something to do. And we just did it for fun. I ended up spending a lot of money on producing the show, just, between, fees for the, Podbean and hosting the show there and, all the equipment I bought to do the show and paying for the Adobe suite to edit it and do all the graphics and all that stuff. So I put a lot of money into it, and I feel it was well spent overall. It was such an amazing experience doing this, and I'm still going to be around. I'll be still, as needed. I want to work with other shows in the Slash and Cast podcast network, and I've talked to some people regarding it, and I'm still going to be around as where I can help out, because I want to be a part of it. I still want a podcast, and you never know, things might be coming down the line where maybe I end up a part of another show or produce another show. I don't really know. All I know right now is that this show's just kind of run its course, because going through the Halloween retrospective series that we did at the end of the year last year, which was kind of our last thing. And, I had ideas, because I had ideas of where I wanted to possibly take the show. I just didn't know for sure. And, I got through the retrospective series, and that's, the guys left after the first few episodes of the retrospective series. And, we had fill-ins, or I had fill-ins from, people from the podcast network. And then my wonderful girlfriend, Christy, filled in for the last couple of episodes, and she was great. You could just introducing her to horror, and not necessarily introducing her to horror, but a lot of the horror movies that I love and whatnot, and just kind of expanding her horizon with that. So it was a lot of fun doing that. And at the end of the day, it just kind of came to the point where I was doing a lot of back and forth of what I wanted to do with the show. Because, at first, I was talking with another person about coming in, to join and host with me and doing, like 2 a month or whatever the case may be, and kind of continuing on with that format. I also talked to Christy about, maybe having her co-host with me and me just introducing her to different horror movies and trying that for a while. And nothing ever really kind of felt right, at least for right now. This is something maybe I reboot the show down the line, and maybe I go one of those routes. I don't know right now. All I know is right now, things have gotten so good, in my relationship with Christy over, especially the last few months, and we're trying to build our future together. And between that and just kind of wanting to get back and just, again, take more time for me, because it wasn't like the show ever became like a burden. It was just one of those things where after a while, I just kind of not necessarily lost passion for it, but I just was starting to go through the motions. And I feel like it could show through the quality of the show, because I stopped editing as much. I stopped posting on social media as much, regarding the show. And, I take full responsibility for that, because, this was my baby. This was my brainchild. I should have run with it. But at the end of the day, I was just starting to get kind of burnt out with kind of running the day-to-day things with the show on my own, for 2.5 years. And then all of a sudden I'm doing the show basically by myself, and then having people come in to fill in. It gets really, really hard. It may seem like maybe a podcast is something easy to do. It's really not. Even if you're very passionate about it, it's so easy to get burnt out if, it's just, if your heart just isn't in it anymore. And unfortunately, that's kind of just where I got with the show, is just my heart just started not being in it. And I was very committed, because the last big thing I really wanted to do was that Halloween retrospective series, and I was so excited to do it. I was bummed when the guys decided to step away, which, I respect their decision, and they're still some of my best friends. And, I wish they would have stuck around for it, but at the end of the day, it was still a fun experience doing that, getting to get other people's opinions and working off of them and talking about those movies. Overall, it ended on a pretty high note for where I was at, So I don't regret anything. I don't hold any grudges whatsoever, because I've had such an amazing experience doing this the last 2.5 years, and getting to be a part of the Slash and Cast family with the podcast network. It's been so much fun and so informational, and it was such a good experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I've gained some new friends from there in the midst of all this that I hold dearly, and I hope to continue working with here in the future. So, but that's kind of just what I wanted to bring forth and just talk about here a little bit. It was just that, because my passion for horror is still there. My passion for podcasting is still there. It's just time for me to step away for now, especially from this show, and just kind of recalibrate, and maybe we'll see where it goes. Maybe I'll be back with this show. Maybe it'll be a new show. Maybe it'll be a whole different show with other people doing something different. We will see. But I do want to thank everybody who is listening to this, who has ever listened to any of our episodes, who has ever supported us. And, we appreciate it. I'm sure the guys would appreciate any of the support that you guys provided the show when they were there. As being the last standing member of the group for the show, I definitely have appreciated all of the support from everybody, and have loved every single minute of it. Even when things were starting to get a little tough, I still loved it, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. You guys are the best listeners in the world. Go continue supporting the other shows in the Slash and Cast podcast network. There's a lot of great content on there, and I'm hoping I will be around, and you'll be able to hear more of me ranting and raving. I can ramble on and on and on and on about a lot of things. I kind of get myself stuck talking in a circle sometimes, so that's always interesting. But I hope you guys take care, and I do, once again, thank you for all the support over the last 2.5 years. It means the world, especially to me, that you would listen to some Midwestern idiot talking about fucking movies, for an hour every week. So, and as I thank all you wonderful listeners, I do also just want to thank the guys, who started the podcast with me, Mark, Sean, and Ted. Because without you guys, I couldn't have never done this. And, I appreciate every contribution you guys had to the show. If you're listening, I'm in debt to you guys for this, because you guys helped make it come true. And without you guys, I would have been nothing with this. So thank you guys, as well as thank you for everybody that's, listened over the last 2.5 years. I'm not going to be closing down the the feed for this, all the shows. So the content's still going to be there, still be able to be accessed. You can always find it through Apple Podcasts, through Spotify. Basically anywhere you can get a podcast, we're listed, and it'll remain to be listed. And I'm just eternally grateful for all the support over the last years. I mean, it means the world to me, and I know I keep repeating myself, but really, it means the world to me, and I appreciate every single one of you out there listening. Until next time, though, I'm signing off. You guys take care, and hopefully we will see you soon.
This episode of the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast is brought to you by the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. Check us out at www.clspodcast.com or join in the conversation on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at CLS Podcast. Until next time, stay safe, campers.